And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV, and today we're at Fairway Mortgage in Las Vegas, Nevada with Michael Ray of RE/MAX Excellence. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day as a real estate agent and joining me on Real Estate Pros.
Thanks for having me, Jordan. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So we'll give you a minute to introduce yourself for those watching that may not know who you are.
I'm Michael Ray with RE/MAX Excellence. I've been in real estate now for 18 years. Been in RE/MAX Excellence for over 10 years. Been with the RE/MAX brand now probably going on 15 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of options out there when you're looking for brokerages. So why did you ultimately choose RE/MAX?
You know, a lot of agents feel that, brand doesn't mean a lot, but I think it really does. And as a RE/MAX agent, RE/MAX agents tend to be more experienced. It is brand recognition. You have people from out of state, out of the country, Canada, Australia, different places where RE/MAX is huge, and they look for a RE/MAX agent. And it's if you're going to be in the soda business, why not work for Coca-Cola? You don't want to work for the guy who says cola. You want to work for the big dog, and that's I think RE/MAX.
Sure. Yeah, I think RE/MAX is probably the #1 recognized real estate brand.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's 118 countries now, so it's worldwide. We don't have the most agents, but I think we have the most experienced agents, and we definitely do probably the most deals per agent out of any company out there.
So being worldwide, does it make it easy to send referrals across the way? Oh,
absolutely. In fact, many times it comes in handy with clients that are out of state or out of the country. I even had, back during the short sale era, I had a client that we needed to get signatures, and he was in Brisbane in Australia. And I was like, I gotta get this to you, and I need you to sign it and get it back. And he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, hold on. So I Googled or went in our system and looked up RE/MAX, and I had 3 different areas, and I picked one in the general area he said. And he's like, oh, that's like 2 kilometers away, which I'm like, I'm American, I don't understand that, but it sounds close.
Right.
And so I said, I'm going to call this company up and see, or I'm going to, this RE/MAX up and see if I can email it to them, have you sign it, and have them scan it and send it back to me. Within 45 minutes, I had signatures on this paper and back and met the time frame needed to complete the short sale. So yeah, it does give us a little bit of strength in the ability to reach out to a RE/MAX office. Even though they're all independently owned and operated, they're still part of the family. So you can reach out, Alabama, New York, Canada, wherever. If I need someone to get something, or if they need to go in and take care of something right away, I can find a RE/MAX office in just about any town and send them to that and find someone there that would handle it and get what we need back to us.
Gotcha.
So it definitely helps globally.
Sure. So before we get too deep into real estate, let's talk about this boot you have on right here. We were talking about this before the show. So what is that all about? You're doing, so not only is Mike a realtor, but he's also training to be a cage fighter.
Well, yeah, I am doing a cage fight, an MMA fight. It's a program that's global as well. It's called Wimp to Warrior. You can look it up on Facebook or whatever. It's a fantastic program. It started in Australia. They basically take everyday Joes, and you sign up and we're training with real UFC fighters and real coaches, and they're teaching us and training us every single day for 22 weeks. And at the end, the finale, if you make it all the way to the end, you actually get a cage fight, and it's going to be promoted, and it's going to be, right now it looks like December 1st is the fight. So check that off the bucket list and hopefully survive it. So we'll see.
Hopefully not to kick the bucket. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, that's what I told everyone. So we'll get a bar close by to go celebrate afterwards, and either I'll meet up there afterwards, or they can go there while I go to the hospital, and that gives them something to do while I'm getting fixed up.
So do you guys fight other people that are in the same program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
so
the same
people on the same level.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So
yeah.
we're not throwing you in the ring with Conor McGregor.
No. But it gives you a whole new appreciation on what these people do. and how they have to live and how they have to train. And amazing how long 30 seconds is when you're trying to punch and you're getting punched and you're trying to keep your breath and you're trying to remember things and it is the longest time in the world, and then you've only gone 30 seconds. And, you know, we train for 5-minute rounds, even though we'll only have, as an amateur, 2-minute rounds. It's unreal how slow time goes when you're in that kind of situation.
Sure. I can only imagine. Maybe I'll add that to my bucket list.
There's going to be another one after the first of the year. I'll let you know, and you can sign up.
All right. Another program to
yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Warrior?
think they have 2 a year now in Vegas. So it seems to be this is the second one this year. So it should be getting bigger and better as more people find out about it. But
That's
it's
cool.
it's definitely worth it, and gets you in some amazing shape.
Yeah, I bet. So what particularly happened to your ankle?
Well, it's nothing cool about
Yeah,
that.
nothing cool about this story.
No. It was actually throwing a kick on a pad, and I was tired, and you're supposed to roll your hips and kick with your shin, and I kind of just halfway did it, and I threw it sideways like a soccer kick, and it bent my ankle and popped my ankle. So yeah, nothing like I was
right.
in a
So learn from Mike.
in a
not what
match
to
and someone
do.
pulled an ankle lock and ripped my tendons out. No, nothing
Right,
fun
right.
like that. But
Just a fight with the pad.
that's it. Yeah.
All right, so back to real estate.
Okay.
So you've been in real estate for 18 years, you said?
18
so you've
years
seen
now.
a pretty good cycle.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
You've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So what kind of, how were you able to survive the downturn and all that?
You have to adapt. You have to find out where the trends are, where the things are going, and kind of follow that. I knew a lot of experienced agents that when the market started tanking, I'm not going to handle short sales, and then I'm not going to handle low-end properties, which they were all going down in prices, and to think. I'm not going to do a $70,000 home because these agents were used to doing $300,000, $500,000, $700,000 properties. I'm not going to do those. They all went out of business, and you just you work harder, you work smarter, and you figure out where the industry is going, and you adapt to that. And you're constantly changing. You're constantly changing, especially now. The market is changing again. And we're feeling it, and you got to adapt and follow where the business is.
Sure. So where do you see the current state of real estate in the business right now in 2018?
Right now, 2018, I think we're plateauing. We're leveling out. We're going to get back to a 3 to 5% annual increase. That's what we had before the boom hit, before 2004, 2005. You saw steady increases, which is normal for our market. Prices have come up to almost pricing people out. The lower end under 300,000, it's really tough. But even those, we're seeing those kind of flatlining. Our inventory, we're just under 7,000 homes right now. So we've gone up almost 2,000 homes in the last, 2 to 3 months. So as inventory goes up, it gets back to a normal market, back to negotiating. It's better for buyers. In fact, maybe it's even better for sellers at times because it allows for a normal market, normal situation. So it's not going to be you get this one and hope for the best, and get this one and then it doesn't appraise and it doesn't appraise, and then you have to work out different deals and situations.
So is that kind of the situation that we're in right now as a buyer? You can expect multiple offers and.
It's going down from that. We're seeing homes sit on the market longer, which allows the buyers to come in, not just make an offer to get the home, but make a legit offer to ask for closing costs, ask for money towards a rate buy down or something else to help pay an expense for the buyer. Sellers are slowly starting to come back to reality and saying, okay, we have to negotiate here, and maybe I'm not going to get $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 higher than the last guy. It's going to be at or near where the last guy sold, and maybe even below. So we're seeing a bit of a shift.
Sure. So what advice would you give to an agent that's starting fresh in 2018?
Get with an experienced agent, ask a lot of questions, work 24/7, which we do
Work
anyway.
hard. Nobody's gonna do the work for you, right?
Right, and do the things that the old school things, the open houses, door knocking, If you want a cold call, I'm not big into that. But if that's what an agent wants to do, and wherever their little niche is, do it and work it to death. And it's a numbers game. They'll be able to get the business if they're out there every day hitting the pavement, doing what they need to do.
So at this point in your career, what are you looking to accomplish? Or do you have a team? Are you looking to bring on agents? Do you do deals by yourself and you like it that way? What does that look like for Mike?
I've had the team. I've done the whole team experience,
Yeah.
and it's not my thing anymore. I don't think it's kind of a glorified babysitting. It's when you hand someone a lead, I think they don't appreciate it as much as when they work it or they have to buy it themselves or pay for the advertising to get that lead. There's more motivation in there. So I'm not really looking for a team. I enjoy doing real estate by myself. I work my sphere of influence. I have a few other things out there that are lead generating, but for the most part, being in the business as long as I have, it's a lot of repeat business. But I'm also working on my broker's license, going into management. I like training agents. I like teaching them the right way. That's, I think, the biggest problem in this industry is you have these agents that come straight out of school. And I do the recruiting in our office, and 9 times out of 10 I'll get these new agents and they'll say, "What's your split?" And I'll tell them immediately, I say, "Here's what you need to understand. That's the wrong question to ask." And normally after talking to them, we don't, especially at Remax, we don't tend to hire brand new agents straight out the gate. You have to have some experience, and we can develop them into being a highly successful agent, but we need them. We're not in the early stages of teaching them the very basics. We do have a few agents that have brought on new agents to mentor. That's a whole different ballgame because now they're one-on-one, and that's probably the best way for a new agent to learn is to get an experienced agent to mentor them. But I do like teaching agents the right way to do business, and even when we're not going to hire them, I tell them the things to ask. Whatever brokerage they're going to, because this real estate school doesn't teach you anything other than how to pass the real estate exam. And once you pass that, it's getting in there and learning the classwork and the one-on-one experiences of real estate to develop the ability to maintain in this business. It's not an easy business. I believe they say about 80% of the agents are out of business first 18 months they start. So it's about longevity.
Right. So getting in and developing those, I think a lot of it may be factored from people just coming out of school. They think it's easy money. They don't teach you sales in the school, so you kind of got to get with somebody to be able to make it in the business, which I think that's a great point that you brought up. When people bring up, well, let's talk about splits. Well, let's talk about how you can survive in the business when there's 80%,
Exactly. And that's what I tell them. I go, right now, you've just got out of school. Now you're paying for your education. You go to college, you have to pay. You go to a trade school, you have to pay. I go, you're coming into real estate. Don't worry about. You should get what you're paying for, though. You should have doesn't matter what your split is. It doesn't matter what the other side is taking, technically, as long as you're learning from them, because that's going to pay off in the future. That is going to allow you to handle your business correctly and to develop it and to be successful. If you look at most the successful real estate agents out there, they started off, they were probably on a 50-50 split plus franchise fees and everything else, and at that time they didn't care. The same with me. I went right into one and had great training, and it taught me the right way. Then I found a mentor, got on a team and was mentored, and that took me to the next level after that, and then from there on out I haven't looked back.
Right, so you got the good habits early, right? Didn't think about splits at all.
Right.
Got trained up, and then you kind of evolved, but you were able to survive in it. I'm sure there was other agents that were trying to get 100% commission or whatever on the front end, and they've been out of the business for 10 years now,
That, and they didn't handle their business the correct way, and they got squeezed out, and it's really easy to do. I even have agents that I've spoke to about recruiting and haven't brought them on, but gave them sound advice, and honest advice. Like, look, here's what you can understand. We're not bringing you aboard right now because you don't have enough experience. So here's the things you need to know, and I'm telling you the truth because I'm not giving you a sales pitch. I'm not trying to bring you under my brokerage. And I still have agents that are working their way to where they feel comfortable to come in and shift over to our company. And they'll call me for advice. I'll be at home on a Sunday afternoon and the phone will ring, and it'll be an agent from another brokerage saying, hey, I'm writing this offer up, and I knew I could call you. I can't get a hold of my broker. I can't get a hold of my whoever they're supposed to talk to. And am I doing this the right way? And I explained to them, I'm not their teacher or their mentor, but I say, here's how I do things, and here's what I like to do, and here's what I want to do, and here's what I want to accomplish. When I'm doing those things, if it helps you, great. And so I try to lead them, but make them think about it instead of saying, here's what you need to do. And then like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this, this, and this. And it's kind of neat to have, right now there's probably at least 4 agents that I can name offhand that will call me at least once a month, and they don't work for us, to ask me advice on a deal they're doing. And I don't view other agents as competition. There's a place for everyone. I can't have all the business, and I don't want all the business. And if you can make, in our industry, the problem I think is the part-time agents. They don't get the time in, or they don't get the ability. They're set up to fail, and then you have a bad agent experience, and it reflects bad on all of us. So I feel if we all pitched in and we all elevated the game of real estate, it would take us to a whole new level where we don't rank in there with car salesmen and lawyers and other things like that, which I don't think we do. I think we have a higher standard, and nothing against car salesmen and lawyers, but if you take a poll, you're gonna all of us kind of. We're not up there with like a police officer or fireman or anyone, those kind of heroes like that. We're way at the bottom of the barrel, and we need to do what we can to elevate it. And it's not making another agent look bad or another company look bad or bad mouthing them. It's about working with them and educating each other and taking each other to a higher level. So it does flow better, and people understand they are hiring a professional. Yeah, I'm going up against that other agent technically for my client, and I represent my client to the fullest, and I'm going to do everything I can for my client. But if that agent is doing something maybe not illegal but borderline,
Sure.
or they're doing something that is detrimental to the transaction, it's not only just to say, hey, you're doing this wrong, but here, if you did this and this, it would make things so much easier. And I never thought of that, because they're not taught. They go to some of these places, and it's a free-for-all. And to think about, you're handing your as a consumer, you're handing your life, say a $500,000 home, $500,000 asset, to this person who has no clue what they're doing. It's scary. It's really scary out there, and we come across situations like that. And I do everything I can to help them as well, because hopefully they're buying my listing and they're bringing a buyer in on one of my listings again, and it's a better transaction and it works out better for everyone. And it is up to us to elevate the game, I think.
Sure. So so your current role at the RE/MAX office you're at is recruiter, correct?
I do recruiting, yes.
So you do recruiting. So what's the biggest draw to RE/MAX? I'm asked that question because if there's an agent that's watching, maybe they're fed up with their current brokerage or they're considering a move, why would somebody consider moving over to RE/MAX Excellence?
Well, we have I think the biggest thing is brand recognition. I mean, you're not going to, that balloon, the RE/MAX balloon, you see it everywhere. You know exactly what it is. I think it's the number 5 most recognizable franchise symbol out there. So, we've got the golden arches, and then a couple down, you're going to have the RE/MAX balloon, and that definitely helps. There's a ton of technical support, websites, CRMs. I mean, a lot of things are automated for us. You put in a listing, and your flyers, mailers, everything are all automated for you, and it's all right there at your fingertips. The connections. I probably get 3 deals a year through the RE/MAX network, so referrals. If you can speak another language, it's fantastic. Unfortunately, I can't. So I speak a little bit Canadian, but other than that, that's
The
it.
French
Yeah,
or
no,
not?
nope, just
Hey.
yeah, and a boot. Other than that, it's unfortunately I don't speak another language. But if you can speak another language, hugely beneficial. Our broker Steve, his wife speaks Portuguese. She's Brazilian. She went through the whole Remax list of people who speak Portuguese and just fired out emails to them saying, hey, if you have anyone in Vegas, I speak Portuguese. I can make their buying or selling situation a little bit easier because I can speak this language that they can. And you have so many countries around the world, and just so many people in different communities that are looking to either move to Vegas or to move out of Vegas. And if you can speak that language, that gives you just an edge up on them as well. So there's so many different dynamics to Remax that I always joke that our agents probably only use 20% of what's available to them, but that 20% is what makes their business. They found their bit of, this is what I can use, and I'm going to use that. And it's so funny because I have agents in the office that they don't explore it fully, and they'll be paying for a CRM or an automated something else or this, and I'm like, you already have that, right? And they're like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, we have to educate you on this,
right.
And we do that. But you know how agents are. You can show them only so much, and if they don't need it at that time, they're not listening. And then a week later, does anyone know? I'm like, I just talked about it last week in the office. Oh, I didn't realize that. So it's one of those things you just got to kind of bring it up constantly. But it's giving them the tools that they need. Remax just partnered up, or actually just bought a company called Booj, Booj, and they're a tech company, and they're
really?
bringing in a lot of different things into the Remax system, but they're keeping them separate as two separate entities. So there is no. They get the feedback from the real estate agents, but being their own company, they can develop things, they can go in their own direction, and it's actually elevating the game on the Remax side as well, because everything it's all about tech and how do you make it simpler. Everything is mobile, and they're bringing so many different items to us that we can give to the consumers. I remember 5 years ago, QR codes.
Right.
I don't even have one on my phone anymore. I don't scan.
It was a cool shiny object of
Exactly.
2014 or something.
But people liked it, so
Yeah.
that was one of the things you put out there. Now it's mobile apps, now I can go to a client and say, hey, download this, and it's my Remax mobile app. You can search for homes, you find it, you hit it, it shoots it to me and says, hey, I'm interested in this one. So it allows them to better communicate with us other than the normal, we're going to set you up on a search, and they do their own searches even though you set them on one, and then they're sending you
and
homes
they
that closed a
email you.
year ago,
Yeah.
things like that. But it allows a more interactive kind of situation with the consumers.
Sure. So it sounds like tools is big, and then the network of agents, and knowing another, like you mentioned, there's a lot of different reasons why Remax would be a choice for
Absolutely.
for any agent. So if somebody watching this is considering the move, or another agent wants to reach out and ask you some additional questions, or maybe a buyer or seller in the Vegas area, how do people get a hold of you?
You can reach me directly on my phone. My cell phone is 702-501-1508. You can email me. It's mikeRayRemax@gmail.com. So MikeRayRemax@gmail.com. You can Google Michael Ray Remax, and you'll find me all over the place. Remax Excellence, we're located on Buffalo, in between Flamingo and Trop. So if you want to stop in or give a call for an interview, it's very discreet. We understand how it is if you're thinking of leaving your company, and keep it on the down low. I'll even meet with you after hours or on the weekends. I've had agents that look, if my broker finds out, they're going to destroy me, and I got to get out of here. So I've met them at 10 o'clock at night, showed them the office, sat down and talked to them about the program we have, and just whatever it does to help the agent make that transition.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for joining me on Real Estate Pros today. It's been a pleasure.
Same here.
And we will see you guys on the next episode.